Hey guys, welcome back. As of the recording of this video, this channel has 999 subscribers. So please, if you enjoy this video, consider subscribing. I'm really looking forward to getting to 1,000 subs. Today we're going to be talking about the Inquisition. The Emperor's Hand. You accuse me of being a madman. What right have you to judge what is sane and what is not? I have fought with the shadows on the edge of your vision. I have seen the faces that laugh at you in your nightmares. I have smelled the fetid breath that issues from the mouth of hell itself. I have heard the silent voices that make your spine tingle with dread. I have entered the realms between worlds where there is no time or place. I have clashed with creatures the sight of which would sear your soul to the core. I have bested horrors that chill with a gaze and tempt unreasoning terror. I have faced death eye to eye and blade to blade. I have stared into the eyes of insanity and met their all-consuming stare. I have done all this for you, for your protection and the guarantee of a future for mankind. And yet you accuse me of being a madman, you who have never had your sanity tested so sorely. What right have you to call me heretic and blasphemer, who have not heard the whisper of dark gods in your ear? You are weak, vulnerable, human in your frailty. I am strong, and yet still you judge me. And yet you still judge me for my sins, you who art most sinful to the heart. Only the insane have strength enough to prosper. Only those that prosper truly judge what is sane. The Imperium stands on the brink of destruction, surrounded on all sides by unknowable threats, and tempted to ruin by the lure of forbidden knowledge. Mankind is but one mistake away from extermination. This fate is averted only through the unsleeping vigilance of the Inquisition, steadfast agents who shield mankind from the terrors of the stars and the unthinking traitors within its midst. The Inquisition is the most powerful organization of the Imperium's many branches. Its agents, the Inquisitors, command fear and respect in equal measure. They are creatures of myth as much as flesh and blood, relentless beings who descend from on high to pass judgment upon the mutant, the traitor, and the heretic. It is a rare citizen who does not dread drawing an Inquisitor's steely gaze, who does not experience the starkest terror in his or her presence. Every imperial citizen, from the poorest of underhive scum to the highest and wealthiest of nobles, has heard the tales of death and destruction, of the all-seeing eye that condemns or absolves with impunity. Those who have crossed an Inquisitor's path and survived to tell of it are seldom eager to invite his attention again. Inquisitors are as varied in appearance and manner as the myriad threats they face. They range in age from fiery young zealots to hoary old veterans who have fought in the darkness for centuries. Some wear ostentatious robes and symbols of their allegiance, whilst others shun the trappings of status. Inquisitors commonly carry a wide range of weapons and war gear, so as to be prepared for any threat they might face. Some Inquisitors use outlandish weaponry taken from defeated foes, exotic hardware, alien guns, and demon-possessed weapons. Inquisitors themselves care little for mortality, and nothing at all for the Imperium's many laws and procedures, except when they choose to make use of them. They are the Emperor's left hand, as the Adeptus Terra is his right, and stand in judgment over all the Imperium's organizations. Indeed, an Inquisitor is apart from the rest of mankind in every way that matters. By ancient tradition, his authority comes directly from the Emperor himself. There is no hierarchy to which he must answer, and he is beholden only to his fellows. More than this, a bearer of the inquisitorial seal can requisition any servant in the Imperium to assist in his mission, from the lowliest of clerks to entire Space Marine chapters and Imperial Navy battle fleets. Survival is the only goal for which Inquisitors strive, not personal survival, for they, more than any, understand that one life is meaningless when set upon the galactic scale. An Inquisitor labors for nothing less than the endurance of mankind. This is a cold-hearted pragmatism, so unyielding and fervid that it eclipses the faith of even the most devout of the ecclesiarchy's adepts. The Inquisitor is an arbiter of absolute truth. In his or her eyes, tradition is irrelevant. Decades of blameless existence count for nothing, and ignorance matters not one whit. The deeds of the hour are the Inquisitor's obsession, and the consequences spiraling from the most seemingly insignificant acts his burden. Though learned, Inquisitors do not possess some all-encompassing store of knowledge and certainty, for even the furthest traveled and most experienced of their number hold but a fraction of the Emperor's wisdom. Though there are many thousands of Inquisitors scattered across the Imperium, such are the threats arrayed against mankind that 10 times their number could not hope to achieve lasting victory, or even meaningful respite. Demons clamor beyond the Emperor's light, waiting for the hour in which the darkness drowns all. Aliens crowd close, subverting and destroying whole worlds. And all the while, the willful, the foolish, the misguided, and the arrogant within humanity's own ranks unknowingly work towards their own destruction. All of these threats must be opposed and contained by whatever means necessary, and only Inquisitors have the breadth of vision and authority to do so. Where a planetary governor or military commander might perceive only an insurrection to be crushed, an Inquisitor will recognize the heresy of which that rebellion is but a symptom. He will have the contacts and resources to root out alien conspiracies, bureaucratic corruption, and the gene seed deviances festering within hitherto blameless Space Marine chapters. If perspicacious enough, an Inquisitor will be able to detect incipient disaster through analysis or instinct, excising the cancer before it takes root. Whether in person or through the scalpel of the Officio Assassinorum. Too often, however, his efforts are expended on a cataclysm already begun, one which can only be ended by the sledgehammer of the Imperial Guard or the horror of exterminatus. There are no lengths to which an Inquisitor will not go in pursuit of his duty, no sanction too extreme. He knows that it is better for 1 billion blameless souls to perish alongside a single guilty fugitive if it ensures the threat is ended. Most Inquisitors grieve for the murder they wreak in survival's cause. They mourn every death, and forge on only through the knowledge that the act served a greater purpose. Others have become so emotionally cauterized that they give the matter no more thought than they would when sweeping the pieces from a gaming board. Yet there are occasionally acts of mercy to balance those of murder. Inquisitors are not blind to the possibility of redemption. Virtue in the present can sometimes outweigh the evils of the past, though such reprieves are rare indeed. Lesser men might believe that the means matter more than the end, but those who bear the inquisitorial seal know better. Perhaps in another time, another place, the men and women of the Inquisition would be considered as monstrous as the threats they oppose, but to judge them as such is to willfully overlook a brutal truth. Mortality and compassion are luxuries that the Imperium can ill afford. Steeped in atrocity though they may be, Inquisitors are the heroes their times require. History of the Inquisition. It should come as no surprise that the Inquisition's past is shrouded in secrecy. Even the Inquisitors themselves have only the haziest of understandings as to how their organization was founded, and must rely on hundreds of disparate and contradictory legends for guidance. Indeed, there is a branch of the Inquisition itself, the Ordo Originatus, dedicated to unraveling 10 millennia of myths, exaggerations, and lies. This is a difficult task, raised to impossibility due to the opposing work of the Ordo Redactus, who focus their own efforts into deliberately obscuring the past, lest the enemies of mankind discover some advantage through knowledge of the Inquisition's beginnings. What almost all the legends agree on, however, is that the Inquisition was founded by Malcador the Sigillite at the Emperor's instruction. As the story goes, in the final days of the Horus Heresy, Malcador brought 4 men and women before the Emperor, individuals of unblemished loyalty, determination, and strength of mind, who would serve him well in the years to come. Beyond that one fact, the legends diverge, ascribing numerous identities to each of the 4, some ludicrous, many credible, and all utterly unprovable. Though it is widely known that the Inquisition exists, its deeds are all but impossible to trace. Records are sealed, restricted, or simply destroyed. Witnesses are silenced, suffer telepathic mind wipe, or are slain out of hand. Yet the signs are there for those who know how to look for them. Many imperial scholars believe that the Inquisition played a pivotal role in such momentous events as the Second Founding, the beheading, and the fall of Nova Terra. There are gaps in official records that indicate whole branches of the Adeptus Terra have been put to the sword in the past, and who but the Inquisition would have the authority to do such a thing, let alone disguise the act thereafter. Most who seek the Inquisition's past go a lifetime without proof, and those that do uncover evidence of a tendency to disappear. Some attract an Inquisitor's attention, their skills deemed suitable for advancing the Inquisition's goals. Most simply perish, their lifeless bodies later discovered in situations so damning as to call their character into question. The Inquisition watch over the Imperium. They do not care to be watched in return. The Inquisitorial Ordos. As the Inquisition possesses neither formal hierarchy nor leadership, each Inquisitor is free to pursue the mission of humanity's survival in the manner he or she believes most appropriate. Like-minded fellows gather together to investigate areas of mutual interest or concern, as bounded by one of the many inquisitorial ordos. Each ordo waxes and wanes with the times, for many inquisitors move freely between them according to where they judge the need to lie. The greater the level of demonic activity, the larger the Ordo Malleus becomes. In times of heresy, the Ordo Hereticus grows to match the threat. An Ordo can lie fallow for years, existing only as a historical curio, until its field of study becomes relevant once more. Such is the nature of the galaxy, however, that some perils, specifically those posed by the demon, the alien, and the heretic, are ever present. Accordingly, the Ordos dedicated to combating them, the Ordo Malleus, the Ordo Xenos, and the Ordo Hereticus, are considered Ordos Majoris, for their vigil is never-ending. Nevertheless, there are many scores of Ordos Minoris as well, lesser branches dedicated to more transient dangers. Association with one of the inquisitorial ordos is not a matter of absolute allegiance, for they are no more structured than is the Inquisition itself. Nor does it preclude an inquisitor's involvement in matters pertaining to another ordo. There is no formal demarcation, and inquisitors investigate and act where they wish. Sorry about that. Indeed, many inquisitors would argue that to compartmentalize the foes of mankind would be a tragic error, for all too often the lines between disciplines are fine to the point of non-existence. Just as a plague of mutation might originate from an alien infestation, a blossoming population of psychers might prove to be the vanguard of an imminent demonic incursion. Membership of an ordo is a statement of interest, a field of study. If an inquisitor declares himself a part of the Ordo Malleus, his fellows will know that his sphere of endeavor encompasses matters demonic. He need seek no approval to do so, for an inquisitor has no superiors, save those he chooses to acknowledge. There are sometimes elements of hierarchy to be found within an ordo, albeit nebulous and highly informal ones. As an inquisitor grows, more accomplished and learned, he garners esteem, and by common consent is graced with a title, such as Grand Master. These are marks of respect rather than unconditional authority. Other inquisitors may defer to a colleague's experience and reputation, but they are by no means required to do so. Even within an ordo, fields of endeavor seldom overlap completely. Each branch, after all, encompasses an almost infinite potential for study and investigation. Even so, inquisitors sometimes band together into a loose association called a conclave. A conclave is assembled at the request of a respected inquisitor who seeks to pool the skills, knowledge, and resources of his peers in order to oppose a threat too great for a single inquisitor to face. An orc law, a demonic incursion on a massive scale, or a plague of heresy. Most commonly, a conclave will call upon only a single ordo, but it is far from unheard of for a conclave to include several branches of the Inquisition if the situation requires it. Members of the conclave seldom take a martial lead, Such things are best left to the commander of whichever forces the Conclave has requisitioned. Nevertheless, the Conclave invariably sends a representative to oversee any military actions, and thus ensure that the focus of the mission is not lost in the heart of battle. If necessary, this emissary will seize command of the entire mission, but most Inquisitors find it preferable to remain in the shadows whilst the Emperor's armies go about their bloody work. And that is where we're going to bring this video to a close. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please consider liking and subscribing. Remember, only one more subscriber to reach 1,000. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.